So welcome to the last webinar of Empower Wednesday officially. And I'm lastly going to kindly admit people. So we welcome even latecomers. So Empower Wednesday for the last time it's been running weekly. It's starting in February. It's been a long journey with all of you, and today is the last one. And we designed this program in order to support you, international talent here in Finland. We gather some expertise. I'm personally representing International Working Women of Finland. Then we had the partner of the city of Turku. Turku Business Region today here with Megumi and the Tempo project with the Human University. And we wanted together provide some key information in order to support you and helping you to find your working path here in Finland, and in order to expand even your network and your support base. So the program, as you see, has been very intense, but today is the last meeting and we will talk about how to build your community, to find job, and why not even friends. So the end. I'm so happy when I wrote that today. So the context will remain the same. Hopefully we'll start to run another Empower Wednesday this autumn, spoiler alert. So just keep in mind those contacts, that they will remain the same. The website is being hosted by Career in Southwest Finland, and there is a section dedicated to event and Empower Wednesday. But please continue checking this website because there are even openings of jobs only for English speakers. So keep this website in mind. We have our Facebook page, which is Empower Wednesday, of course. For this spring, we created even a LinkedIn profile. And as I said at the beginning, all the sessions of Empower Wednesday have been recorded and uploaded in the YouTube channel of International Working Women in Finland. And I am Lucia Williamin, and you can keep contacting me at Lucia at IWWOF.com, and I will be happy to continue answer all your questions and support you however I can. So today we will talk about, as I said, about building your community. We will have 1 hour for this event, so I will hurry up because I want to introduce you our speaker today. So Camila Sultanova, she's an entrepreneur and she's a keynote speaker, and she's running her own company, Connect Us, which is based in Helsinki. She's been born and raised in Uzbekistan. I don't even dare to say the name of their city because I will get it wrong. But then she moved to the Nordics, and she has studied and lived for 18 years, and she has a master in corporate communication, so we have something in common, Camila. But she has a background in corporate sale and purchasing, which is that she helped herself to navigate through the complexity of a global trade in the fast maritime logistics. So she had got in her journey the opportunity to support from many mentors, and she's been the voice of immigrants, and it's one of the reasons why she's today with us. And she is a co-founder of an important no-profit, it's called Global Dignity Finland. And actually, Camila, I would like to, if you can take a few minutes to tell us more about this upcoming event about the running. So you can see her website, camilasultanova.com, and you will have all her contacts. But now, with no further delay, I would like to interrupt my share screening and let Camila have her own presentation. Thank you, Camila.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you. And so nice to be here. And thanks for the generous welcome. And it's been a long journey for you and Megumi and all the teams involved. So yeah, very happy to be here. It's 4 o'clock, 4:09. So we're gonna have a very fast forward on some of the tips that I want to share with you today, but also want to hear from you so that I always try to learn as much as I try to share my learnings with you. Thank you for sharing where you're from. There are so many people from around the world, around Finland. And I can see already LinkedIn links are coming in. That's awesome. That's how we are really building ourselves out there and promoting connections, because we really seek and we need those links to each other. So I will send my LinkedIn later, but you can probably find me already. So what I want to share with you is it's some stories of struggle. I mean, there's no story of success with anyone's struggle. There's more failures than what we see. But as an immigrant, as an international student turned immigrant from Denmark to Finland. It's been quite a journey, last almost 20 years. So half of my life I'm here in Finland. I mean, in the Nordics, and still connected to my home community in Uzbekistan because all my family members are there. So my spouse, my Finnish husband, expected me to plug and play in Finland. Didn't work that way. He was not a great integrator, and it was needed yourself to start from scratch and actually educate your hubby. And who is Snellman, you know, the head of the founder of Finnish Markka. And, you know, I used to be a city guide in Helsinki. And so I had to learn the Finnish history, and so I could actually integrate him better into Finnish society. But anyhow, what I want to ask you right now, before we start also, it is about building communities. It's about building friendships, finding jobs, finding your own path. Tell me right now, during the last year, which community that you found really the best for you to feel safe, to be seen, and to feel really a member of? So just write the name of community here so I can also learn what are the communities really making their members shine, and maybe which city as well, in which city. Yeah. And by the time you write this in, I will share my screen. So, yeah.
Sorry, Camila, could you just repeat what you wanted us to do? I'm so sorry if I missed.
No worries. Yes, I would like to say which community served you during the last year when the pandemic started, so that we can write which communities are really making it happen for you.
Okay.
It could be family, it could be friends, it could be specific networks like IWWOF. IWWOF, I can definitely say it's for me. And maybe some WhatsApp channels. I mean, just, you don't have to be like saying what it is, but just like give an indication who has in your community. Yeah. And now we'll check the comments. Okay. Oh, wow. We even have someone from Netherlands. Yay. Curacao. Someone from Johanna from Germany in Espoo. We have someone from Kirkkonummi in Belarus. Hi, Valeria. Curacao, Nihaila. Hello, from Nantali. Tampere, Espoo. Carolina from Italy. Brazil, based in Helsinki. Yahoo. Hello. Elizabeth from Atlanta. Very nice to meet you. And Doug from Taivasalo. Where is that, Taivasalo? Yeah, IWWOF is International Working Women of Finland, so one of the organizers of this event. Elizabeth is asking. Ksenia says, Amplify Community, awesome. Carolina, teacher, vocational education in Hagahelia, awesome. IWWOF, yes. Talent Boost Network for Megumi and IWWOF, yes. Johanna says Mothers in Business has been her community. Yeah, it's been buzzing on LinkedIn. I've been seeing that. Douglas says entrepreneurship classes in Oulu and Helsinki. Cool. And yeah, some other answers coming up. Oh, wow. Mahdi says Eventbrite. So lots of events on Eventbrite. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Yeah. IWWOF is making rounds. All right. Hello, how are you? I'm good. Or on Diba, how are you? So yeah, so that's Hidden Gems. Yes, I heard about Hidden Gems in Tampere. It's a well-respected program, and I look up to them a lot for the mentoring. Perfect. And Shortcut, yeah. Lucan, yes, they've been also my community when I was still finding my own path 3-4 years ago. Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, but keep those answers coming. I think we can always go through the chat. And yeah, let's start. We know that this is the last event of Empower Wednesday. There's a lot of different topics that you've been covering, including networking, including employer branding, personal branding, and all the different opportunities that you can seek while you're here. or considering to live in Finland. So what I will just share also is what are some of the ways that we don't recognize as the way to find fulfilling and full life while, even if it's in COVID times. So let me just close this for a second and yeah, let's start. So yeah, I'll share with you the value of community building, which I'm so passionate about, some tips and opportunities. You can screenshot some of the networks which you may know or may not know. And what are the things to really future-proof yourself, your own leadership, because we're all our own leaders, right? Navigating this whole uncertainty and change. And some of the ways that we can localize ourselves, because you know what's happening in the news. It's been really worrying. And so want to give a shout out to Turku. I've been there first. The only business trip was last year, was in Turku in November. So study and stay in Turku. So anyone who is there with us from the same community, thank you for having me. It was absolutely great. And yeah, Lucia and Megumi and the power women making this happen. These are the community leaders we need to cherish, appreciate. And I want to say thank you for creating that buzz, because when we see your ongoing efforts, it really gives that sense that, hey, everyone cares. There are people who create something continuous, not just like in a day fly moment, So big kudos, Lucia and Megumi and the team. Yes, this is where I'm from, a country of golden teeth. Have you ever seen people with golden teeth? It's a vanishing beauty. So yes, it could be my aunt or my my grandma, but yeah, it's a colorful country. Uzbekistan is in Central Asia, the Silk Road. So those hospitality is world famous. So I hope that when it's opening up and COVID is over, that you will think of me and go to travel there, because there's still a lot to visit and to experience that country, which is opening up. Yeah, so the experience that I have here with living in the Nordics goes back to living my life on my own terms. Like, we're struggling in all different ways when moving to another country is a big stress. For me, I kind of left Uzbekistan to live my freedom because of the way I grew up and our social norms. It was very choking to not to choose your clothes, not to be able to cut your hair, not to be able to speak or look men in the eye. And so I was so adamant to leave and the studying was my only way to have a plausible way to leave the country. So for me, when I moved to Denmark, I never biked, and my first reaction was like, wow, women on the bikes. And it was absolutely amazing to see that freedom and that whole choice decision making that I also learned. So those of you who come from countries where decisions were made for you, this is a big test for your life, because you need to make decisions yourself. And so one thing is that you have the hygge, that whole element of having a cozy life, trying to, blend into your community, all the candles and this and that. But you still need the sisu part, which of course, we all have that sisu as you immigrated. You need to find yourself, we don't always fit for 8 to 5 jobs. It's like you're always looking for where's the fight, So there are those opportunities you need to grab on. And so the sisu was great from Finland. The hygge is nice to kind of, bounce back and to be humble, because they don't, both in Denmark and Finland, you probably feel that people are very humble and they don't show off as in some other countries and cultures do. And being so difficult growing up that, you're not worthy, you're not valuable just because you're a girl, or you come from like outside the capital, that whole periphery question. I was met with another challenge of a social unwritten rule in Denmark. So Jante law, if you haven't heard, it's a law which tells you some kind of way that don't think you're special, don't think you're better than me or you, don't think you have something to be super special about. And it was like, baseball bat putting you on the hammering on your head, like you shouldn't really think that you're something special. And this is really difficult for a lot of people to kind of make that happen. And also for immigrants to say, okay, you need to prove yourself, you need to show your worth, but how do you do it that you don't, knock the locals off because how you apply for CVs? So that way it really required me to localize myself. And the same thing, I did that journey because of that 12 years experience in Denmark. I did that it gave me a lot of experience how not to do things in Finland when I moved here. So yeah, my background is in shipping, as Lucia said. I traded containers, even though I did communication studies. So that was the first, like one of the big crises. Now we're living Corona crisis that affects our jobs and career choices. When in 2008 I graduated, there was no jobs in communication marketing. So I had just really needed to do what I wasn't prepared to do. So I went to container trading. Like I didn't need to study masters for this, but the job humbled me down. I took this job, paid my bills, got to travel, got to use my Russian skills, and also did learn new sphere of logistics and trading. So that kind of also learned how we are brainwashed in business schools to only work for corporates, to only work for that best company, So any company, any employer right now is worthy to consider, and any job is worthy to be done with dignity. That's something that I learned, and I confronted my own bias being a graduate of some fancy Aarhus University business school. So then here, a little jump off here is that just now, I can see the slide went in the wrong place, but these are the making friends in COVID. I will come back to that, but this is 8 and 6-year-old neighbors that come and knock on my door because I went with them and started drawing rainbows. Do you remember the rainbow challenge? Yeah, so I had chalk because I, randomly bought chalk, and I knocked on my neighbor's door. I didn't even know what their names was. So during COVID, I made friends with them, but yeah, and then they came knocking on my door and said, Camila, tuletko me kanssa ulos? And I was like, wow, I got friends. They want to come and play with me. So that's a nice way to kind of think. You need to only take an initiative to get the communication going, and someone has to do it. And I think, and I challenge you for you to be you, because you're more outgoing than average Finns are. So yeah, so my life, what had happened is this 10,000 hours of volunteering. This is basically how I could build communities. Feeling in a society, feeling unwelcome. It was really strange. Also to try to learn everything new. I knew that I needed to work twice as hard to feel belonging, to find my calling, and also to try things new. Because like I told you, in Uzbekistan, I wasn't allowed to hobbies. Anything after 5 p.m. I had to be home, super tight curfew. And so when you're lacking that cultural and social capital, you just need to like grab onto it and use any opportunity that comes. So what I did was I volunteered, I got a mentor who was a volunteer. Then I volunteered for immigrants, NGO promoting immigrants' job access in Denmark. We're in a Danish parliament promoting, better legislation, better, visibility, why we need to speak Danish, similar things that we're discussing today. And then suddenly, I got jobs in the shipping companies, and they looked at me as if I'm something special. I was like, but no, this is not special. I just want to have a job. And they, made some media appearances in local newspapers. And basically, when I moved to Finland, I started this co-founded global NGO, the Finnish branch of the global NGO called Global Dignity. But I'll come back to that in a minute. So when you realize, or someone tells you that, okay, you got to do something, they push you forward. First thing is university. That's your first community. Or your first employer is your first community. And then the organizations locally, the NGOs, are some really powerful elements that push you forward. So what we have is IWWOF today, right? We're creating a platform for all of us to prosper, to find our wings and find our fundament. So all the work benefited. So I'm happy to say that I did meet Barack Obama 2 years ago. It wasn't like a face-to-face, but I just managed actually to speak to him and invite him to inspire gender equality in my home country, Uzbekistan. But there was a meeting with 300 young leaders in Europe. It was in Berlin. And it was just hard, like really amazing to know that even if it was so much pro bono work that I did, it really paid off to say that, okay, inclusive leadership, civic leadership is so important to make sure that, you're there, the voice of others, but it will lead to some social change, and we do it together. So yeah, here you see my great first Finnish friend and volunteer co-founder, Tanya Lankia. She's a top-notch recruiter in a gaming company, But together we've done with her these few events to actually help Finnish kids feel valuable and worthy. You probably think, oh, Finnish kids, there's like a Finnish education is so world famous. What happened? Obviously, there's not that equitable education for everyone, and there are a lot of students who feel excluded. And we brought different storytellers who shared their vulnerable story of dignity. And that really is life-changing moment for me, because I've been looking for my dignity for so many years, doing all this stuff. And it was really a nice way to, now that I moved as a spouse, I still had a shipping job, but I needed somewhere, place to find new friends. You couldn't make friends in a company. You know, they don't even speak English to you at lunch break. It was really strange. It was a global company, but that didn't work out all the time. So again, my refuge was go out, meet like-minded people, do some initiative, and then, you know, get out and create these crazy opportunities, which happened. I didn't speak a word of Finnish. I didn't know anyone besides my husband. So I met her randomly at Nordic Business Forum. So opportunities come to those, I guess, who kind of try it forward, try it a bit more. This is one of the art projects we did with New York-based Inside Out organizations, is to promote Finnish youth in 2050, that we want to feel all a place we belong. We don't want to be, you know, discriminated based on our looks. We're all Finns. We're all, you know, deserve equality. That was a really nice experience. This is in Makkaratalo in downtown Helsinki in 2017. Yeah, and so the global dignity, Lucia, you said about what it is about. So what we do with college kids, with secondary schools, is we promote events. Before we had like superstars, you know, fancy people come in and talk, but then we realized we want to bring in people on peer-to-peer basis. And a lot of times we bring someone who doesn't speak Finnish, so always English speaker, and we bring people who are just like out of this world, but they also need to share their story. So what we do with Business College Helsinki, you see here, we took students who never spoke before, we offered them TED Talk style coaching so they could share their story. It was really massive. One of my TED Talk coaches, she came in as a mentor, so she told them how to build the speech. So we trained them and they delivered this on a stage. It was in 2018. And we did the similar one just in November, Dignity Impact, which was done like hybrid event. And the lady in the middle, you can see Bambi Dang. Maybe some of you know her. She's now working on international talent recruitment, student recruitment. She's been reluctant to share her story because she thought her Finnish was rusty. And then I said, listen, if you don't speak now, who's going to speak? I had to really push her forward. So she did her best. She delivered her speech, and she was so taken by this dignity spirit that now she's a chair for the Global Dignity Finland. So she's running this whole thing. She's initiating a lot of stuff. So she's one of, you know, we just need one person to believe in you and that potential. And now she's like totally making change for the whole country's, you know, recruitment of high school students. And yeah, and on the left, you'll see teacher, Tarja Airaksinen. Teachers, if without them, I would not be here sharing you this story, because teachers need to believe in you to reach their kids, right? And so Tarja Airaksinen, she worked for Business College Helsinki in event management. And she sees kids really fail from time to time. You know, volunteering is not easy, right? You have to, of course, you have to have a start and an end, but she always gives an equal chance. And she knows that if she doesn't give a chance, who's going to give them a chance? So she really also supported me in training these students, those who were volunteers, those who were speakers, right? And those who were producing event materials. So that was really massive. And everything that I learned from this gave me, you know, I use those two competencies and that network in my professional consulting today. Yeah, so dignity, I'm not going to go through the whole big, you know, these 10 elements of dignity. Just I want to you have to understand that how it changed my life is that we all seek respect. We all seek recognition. We want to be heard and seen. And what really I wasn't aware, and they don't teach you in school, is that you need to accept, to learn to treat people with dignity, which is different from respect. So if you see the first one is that you know, we need to give the people the freedom to express their authentic selves without fear of being negatively judged, where respect, it has to be earned. And that offering, that insight helped me understand that I deserve my own dignity. I recognize dignity in you. And when we cooperate, when we try to meet, we know that we come with the best intentions. And doing these events over and over again, year in and year out, gave me that sense that people want you to succeed. We can be feeling negatively affected with the media, with, we're inferior or superior, somebody's superior. But in the sense of, this equality driven whole Finnish society, that understand dignity I got here, also by doing, but also experiencing this through interactions. So I want you to think about this, and I will share the slides and think how you treat other people. How do we recognize our biases towards specific groups of people? And do we actually recognize each other's uniqueness? Or do we want others to recognize us as unique, but we're not prepared to recognize others as they're unique? Yeah. So that's a nice thinking thought for you. Yeah, one of the great projects that I just finished was the Hunk International Talent, where I matched Finnish companies to international students on the mentoring programs, internship programs. And this has really been profound experience for me to see what are all happenings in cross-sectoral collaboration, like working across different competencies, different stakeholders. And something that Talent Turku Science Business Region, right? is doing as
Science
well.
Park or Turku Business Region.
Turku Business Region, yeah, thank you. Because this is all a big talent boost, big rainbow project, a national strategy. And looking at that, it gives you also, working with those challenges, seeing that, but also pushing for the success stories. I have really seen people getting jobs, people landing their summer internships in English, people landing jobs during COVID while everyone else is on, there are many people who were sent on without pay. And also people are really looking up to help to international students. So regardless of what we hear, what we read, I want to assure you that my best year was the COVID year to match a record number of students. They were like over 80% were matched. So that's at all odds is that the diversity inclusion here is, we're all doing that during our behavior, but matching mentors one-on-one has been really rewarding. So yeah, and some of the pictures of Global Dignity now active in Uzbekistan, so paying it forward to our local communities. And here I want to share with you quickly on global citizenship. This is a story I did with Citra. So Citra is a Finnish innovation fund who does these experimentation education to create new working cultures, and it's Academy for Change Makers. Now this was in Finnish, and I cried my eyes out because I didn't always follow Finnish, but I needed to really work hard for it because I was selected to. And yeah, it was scientific Finnish, like, public language, public policy language, but it was fine. So we went to Hervanta, which is outside Tampere, to youth house. And we wanted to look at how do we promote young people empowerment in Finland. And so to address inequality rising inequality among young people and children. So we took 4 post-it notes. We said, okay, put here, and one note it was Hervanta, I'm from Hervanta. Second was identity, I'm from Tampere, Pirkanmaa. Third identity was I'm from Finland. And the fourth post-it note was I'm from Europe. And actually there was a fifth one, I'm a world citizen. So when we put them out, we asked the young people to stand where they feel they belong, because there was a test of identity, yeah? And majority of young people, they stood on Hervanta post-it. On Hervanta. What does that mean? That they didn't feel they had opportunities outside their small community. That was shocking for us. And so what we said is that the global citizenship that we need to promote is that you can seek opportunities and you seek your own agency outside your immediate circle. So what is it for you? What does it tell about you? You're all global citizens and you can engage with young people. You can engage with young people, not necessarily in school, but also university, to mingle together and give that capacity to think big, to think that you bring yourself with the richness of your culture, the richness of your perspectives, and that we don't always have to live our lives in one space or one country, because for sure, a lot of people feel that they want to be, they can only feel safe within that postcode. So for that, the global citizenship that you have and the richness of experiences you can bring to Finland is something that actually empowers young people, empowers also Finnish people, as long as you dare to interact. Okay, as long as you dare to take the first step and unlock these serendipity moments when you're together. So with the community building, as you can see, everything that I've been doing is that I try to immerse yourself in local community. And I found those not just moments when I get scared to do things. I feel they don't want me there, or I feel unwanted but not needed. But it still was creating my own own GPS. You know how it feels that you know the city well, that you know how to go from A to B. Like you don't need to call anyone or ask missä on rautatien tori, that simple language task. So that was like creating your own GPS, that you feel like, hey, I stand here on my own 2 feet on ground and I'm fighting every inch of the way to, self-advocate for myself. And that was way to say, okay, where I shouldn't screw up is like say wrong things in the wrong context and be relevant with the right people, So that was really ways also to explore my identity. Every holiday we have, like, okay, Christian holiday, Muslim holiday, is also a way to see, okay, how do I relate to that community's holidays? Can I celebrate them? And also the power of shared joke. We all know the Finnish problems, Finnish nightmare jokes, right? Those are great once you already lived here long enough. You're like, hey, I'm in there. I can laugh at that joke. So like, how can you yourself create in your community those moments where you can laugh? And that way you already feel like, hey, I belong here because we can understand the same joke. In Russia, we have this student, in Russian speaking countries, had this student event called KVN. So we could come together and laugh at the same program, stand up for students. And so it gives confidence to you, to your possibilities, which you don't even know what's coming. And it gives that sense of safety and inclusion. And at the end of the day, you also give joy. Reading that someone here is from Curacao, from Belarus, gives me that sense of like, wow, we're so connected together in this hour. And it's just so remembering that we also need to have fun, and human mind is, it's fundamentally we are fit for joy and belonging in through our humanity. So what else that I learned during COVID is I did this community building webcast. So how do you build a community? What does it take to become part of one? Yeah. So I went out to interview people who are youth workers, futurists, cafe owners, sports personalities, all those kind of people who deal with that, or even academics. And so the 3 elements here is that, what helps to build a community is that first is that you are triggered about something, you're curious about something, and you cultivate that interest towards ABC. You're into music, you're into biodegradables, you are into, climate change, plus you're into food, cats, dogs, whatever. So you bring that some kind of interest there, but then you also bring your professional aspirations. Yeah. And so you get inspired by someone, either by speech or a mentor or someone you look up to, and then you join that. The second step is you join the community. Okay, someone is part of IWWOF, yeah, and you do stuff which is reciprocal, right? So the synergy you get is actually you get more out of community than you bring in, but you need to be reciprocal. And every good community requires a structure, rules, requires something, clear rules of engagement. That's why we have Caroline, and all the other on IWWOF community telling us, so this is the rules, this is what we do, this is what allowed, what not allowed. So everyone knows how to operate in there. And then what is important to build on community, plus, if you do something that you want to utilize in your professional life, is that it has to have a beginning and the end. You cannot just stop halfway. Lucia, you wouldn't be here if you just stop with this Empower Wednesday in April. Say, you know what, Megumi, you do it. I'm done. I have twins. I have so many things to do. Nix. So you got to be responsible. And in Finland, it's so small. If you screw up, people are going to talk. So the trust mechanism is so good here that it's a small country. So if you really like slack, they'll slack you then in the future. So be good even in volunteering, yeah? in community building too. So when you build your identity that you're reliable, you also build that stuff awareness that you're not just Russian speaking, you're not just Danish speaking, you're not just Uzbek speaking, you're part of different groups based on interests. And that makes you less biased towards specific, cultural groups, but you expand yourself and expand your fundament. So that's why I think, people want you to speak out, but I think a lot of times we are so afraid to ask, so afraid to initiate something. So this is the time now where internet is a level playing field to start, do something together online, of course, and wait for the better times when we meet in person. And then I write in the bottom, thick skin. The thick skin gives you why. What gives you thick skin? Unfortunately, in any work environments, not all companies feel like communities. Yeah, only few of us feel like we truly belong, we can be truly heard, and feel safe to speak our minds in our workplaces. And if we don't feel that way, I've been also in a toxic leadership places. That way, the refuge for me was the volunteer communities, the WhatsApp, the Instagram, the Telegram, those communities that you can laugh with, you can bring your own self, you can bring different levels of you. So thick skin is also needed for your resilience and for your continuous, nudging on yourself and looking for opportunities. So what life has taught me, this is what life has taught me. The best thing in life you could do is to cherish your curiosity and your roots. I've been afraid of wearing Uzbek dresses, ikats, anything that was ethnic, because I wanted to fit in a very, Danish environment. And then I spoke this story. I almost cried on stage in Finland. It was my dignity story. So I didn't want to be a Fatima. Yeah, you need to cherish your roots, whoever you are. You want to be a Fatima, be a Fatima. You want to be who you are, just be who you are. Don't put yourself into somebody else's image of you. Owning your experience, no need to regret. Owning experience is also good, not to blame each other on whatever lost chances. Beware of your own bias. I told you about how biases towards work, to a specific community, professional, group can also limit your opportunities. And treating people with dignity. I told you all about it. Adaptability. So building plan ABC. I couldn't get a job in communications. I went into trading. I had to start over. Now I'm able to use that experience and still communicate and use my communication skills in my consulting. Never give up, but trust the process. What does it mean? It comes with a sense, okay, I know where I'm coming from, Uzbekistan. I know people denying my story still, but I shouldn't never give up on also having the roots connections there. Never give up on opportunities here. There are still structural barriers and inequalities. So we need all of us to be the firsts in our fields. We need, now there's elections coming up. We need all of us in music, in politics, in NGOs, in board leadership, to taking our places and opening up the gateway for others as well. But trust the process. I think as long as we're not sitting there, feeling, well, I'm just a poor immigrant here without opportunities, that's not where to go. Think of solutions, think of ways to, maybe fake it till make it, but just like keep that positive mindset is always better than coming out on these international networks as negative. Yeah. Then volunteering for me is truly, truly, truly the art of living a full life. I mean, it brought me these experiences. I cannot explain how I could not live without it. I mean, to understand who I am, knowing the background I have with, really not knowing what freedom is, to understand that you can feel safe in the presence of other men, feel safe in another country with other people. You can feel safe with doing things together and you forget the differences. This is really full of, beautiful moments. So, and then what happens is that you're not the creator. I mean, you're a creator, you're not the consumer, because what we're educated a lot from the school times, we're expecting the big diploma, graduate, get a good job, pay bills, travel, get it, this kind of supply chain. But we need creators of opportunities. And this is where you get the kick out of life, I think. And the easiest way for you to be is to think, who you could mentor with what you know. Who could you mentor with what you know? And I'm sure there will be people who want to know about you and hear from you. And so, yeah, and the last thing is I always do is, if you have 5 minutes, it's Adam Grant, he says, if you have 5 minutes to help the other person, you should do it. That's how you build your leadership, how you build your, I don't know, your capacity to also positively influence another person's life. I mean, connecting, you know, I've got a lot of friends, you know, from Finland, just because they introduced me to others. So Finnish human capital here is so amazing, and people are just so kind. Once you get to that level, like, please, can you help me? So asking for help and giving help, that's where it's really great. So yeah, here we want to go through some tips, opportunities. You can screenshot some of the networks, but as you know quickly, why are we doing these events? Why are we so much talking about social capital? We're talking about networking. How do you build that curiosity without being fake interested, but truly genuinely interested? Is because we need to build the trust to ourselves as human beings and to others who are here in Finland in position of power, who can push you to your next best job, yeah? So the social capital is a whole theory that connects us around building communities, around reciprocity, safety, belonging. And so that way we break stereotypes when we meet each other, which we don't live in the same zip code, or we don't have the same socioeconomic backgrounds, and we basically do things together. And that's where how you build trust, yeah? And you just heard this sad news, right? The expat survey that came again and again. So what do you do with that? Yes, it's not an easy country. No Nordic country is easy to break through, but that's just because we need to start more, be more, be more us. Don't contain yourself in, always need to be who you are. You know, if you're super smiley, don't shy away your smile. If you're chatty, don't, shy away from being chatty. My husband told me when I go running here in the forest here in Vuosaari, don't talk to strangers. He tells me when I leave, and I'm like, I will talk to strangers. Tell me, like, watch me. So I go in and I talk to dog owners. I mean, dog owners, they're like really chatty. Then, of course, I want to know the breed. And then, I come out with pictures of those new dogs that I got to know, those, my 6 and 8-year-old friends, the neighbors. So it is also about your way to inspire and change your community to be more open, and that you kind of unlock that opportunity. What happens in your workplace, what happens in your, dancing studio, in your music studio, or in your, whatever, even entrepreneur studio. So we need to shake things up. And this is our way of shaping our communities with our action or inaction. Yeah. So yeah, that's the social capital wheel I talked to you about. I'm absolutely sure that we need more of this. And Citra, the Finnish Innovation Fund, actually has been writing about it, is a decreasing social capital affects all our well-being, all our level of trust. And unfortunately, COVID is straining that, but we are so lucky to have this right now, looking at what's happening around the world. So yeah, here is, with the volunteering tasks, is what really helped me is to turn the experiences to competencies. You hear a lot about right now critical skills, having that future-proof ability. And what I did is I was happy to speak on the United Nations Volunteers Conference, again turning those experiences during COVID, the Rising Unity Community webcast, which requires you to produce content and to be noticed by future employer or future person who wants to hear you speak, in my case. So think about what experiences you've gotten from your volunteering or your, other jobs that you can turn into competencies, which are really skills. Like here, I just listed some here, some below, that, making events, organizational skills, you build relationships, you need to be super convincing when people working for you for free, and then you invite them to speak for free. So you need to really showcase the passion that you have for things, right? And we all have our different ways. We can do digital skills sharing. You don't need to do events. So really find your calling and how to turn it into competencies, which is so important for all of our future jobs. And the thing I also connect volunteering and community building is to entrepreneurship path, right? So all of the things that what makes us those who initiate, who are tirelessly doing things for others, is that you have a self-starter mentality, you get that resilience, you don't give up so easily. And requires different types of us, right? But what does is in common is also as startuppers, entrepreneurs, you are obsessed with the cause, you're obsessed with this, customer centric, and that really can bring you forward to your job, even if you don't know which job it is right now. And so the recognizing your own alternative path comes with that entrepreneurial thinking that you also get, because you get always nudging of successes when you do stuff. You equally contribute your time, and I think that's where you come, like again I said, you come from becoming a consumer to becoming a creator. So now, question to you: how do you build your brand online? How are you right now? I know you had the personal branding as well. What are you working on right now, or what helped you to build your brand presence online? You can type it in. Some things I say, of course, to have regular content on LinkedIn or blogging. Maybe you're on TikTok. There's different ways to showcase build trust to your brand. Let's see.
There's a deep conversation about cats and dogs in the chat right now.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, some replies are coming in through LinkedIn, or Carolina said she started a podcast.
Nice.
Sapna, she say networking, LinkedIn, and attending digital events.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, created a group on Facebook. That's very good.
Being a community leader, good one, Ksenia.
Offering helps to classmates in entrepreneurship classes. That's very good. So we have a very active audience today, Camila.
I'm loving this. Yes, this is great. This is cool. Very nice.
Somebody saying that online branding is an intimidating concept.
It is intimidating, Elizabeth. Oh my God, you always need to self-advocate and show yourself assured. Oh my God. I mean, and you need to choose how many channels you're on. But it's that optimism that needs to shine through, right? And we have so much bad news at the moment. So I choose to be that positive light. I mean, that's just how I function best. And to of course, you don't laugh at everything, but I just still want to be that energizer, and that voice that you promote online is also very important. That's your footprint. So just hosted a couple of online cooking classes. Awesome, Megumi. My goodness. Yeah, people are active. Yeah, I was also in a baking online class. I think it's really nice to connect through food. Cooking class was great. There's a feedback, Megumi. Thank you, Diana. Emilia says, I'm a photographer, so offering to take photos of people for their LinkedIn. Nice. That's really nice way to offer help. It's a sensitive topic to have a nice picture, to start looking for a job. Yep. More people like Emilia. Perfect. Thank you. So this is just a nice way to see that you're on your track. That's also different from when you graduated. I graduated 2008. So there you only needed to have a master degree, internship, job. Yeah, master degree, internship, job. Now you need to have master degree, internship, crazy LinkedIn profile, and that you show your passion, right? So this is some kind of, you need to build your brand and really nurture your interests in a way that people else, actually you let employers find you rather than you seek employers. Yeah. So that's a very nice way to put it, and utilize the online social media smartly, connect everything that really links to the values that you have, so that you all want to be noticed by the right employers. So this one is networks that you may know or not know. I'll just push this down. And what you want to do is, I may send it to you, but those are things that I looked at. Both Turku, Helsinki, but also Finnish based, and what you can do to connect. I think there was a question in Tampere. There's one new community called Bloom. I don't know if you know about it, but yeah. So let's say there are a lot of up and coming things, right? And this is your momentum to be that first. I mean, it's all about being initiative, taking initiative before others, so that you find your, way to entry to navigate or lead something, coordinate something, and help someone solve their task. Yeah. Cities are really great right now. Offer to write a blog for city. Every city wants you to live there in their zip code and pay taxes in that city. So try to represent your city, your community, your university. Any exposure with who you are, your interest, your profession interest is really pushing you forward to your next employer or your next opportunity. And then there's seeking networking during free webinars. Those are some of the webinars that I've identified. So do take a screenshot, and I will send it this, and consider what you haven't tried yet. So and I'm also a user of these events because I need to know what's going on. So it's not like I need to be part of some other community. So this is really real, and it's life, and it's giving value. But you also need to think like, are you adding value to that, right? So that's way of being a good community member. So yeah, as the last one is, how do you future-proof yourself? I think it's a lot about the mindset. I really, these are the people, this is the real person on the left. He's the youth worker from my home, this neighborhood. And he says that, yes, we can't be, connected to one sense of identity, but we can never be shy. We can never be, what did he say? Selfish, yeah? When you want to be part of the community and get this whole benefit, and that we looking for jobs, looking for ourselves, finding belonging, we need those two qualities, not arrogance, but humility that you got yourself together, but you don't know a lot of things, but you will, and the confidence in your real sense of self, that you see the perspective in life. And then, yes, I have to say it again, the culture of dignity brings you forward to yourself, but also builds that, calm understanding, respect for other, relationship to other people. And volunteering is being used in not just for people who are looking for jobs, but also employees, as to help gain skills, soft skills, as we said, but we also see them as the ways to diminish burnout. Here, this was a trend from Randstad. This was really good to see that this is not a soft thing, it's an important thing. It's a part that really brings us forward while companies trying to be more inclusive, yeah? So yeah, some books at the end, which I think are great. The first one is How Do You Revalue Your Life and Work? In the middle, it's How Do You Build Your Leadership and Awareness on Bias? And the third book here is The Serendipity, is How to Create Your Own Luck. I think this was really, really good. And How to Trust the Process. This is really like, when I read it, it was something which was kind of how I lead my life here. So yeah, other things that you can read is, of course, now elections are coming up. Do remember to vote and have a relationship to municipal elections. It is really a country where your vote matters. Unlike many places where you can sell it. And I think we need to appreciate the values we use here, but when we know it works for us in Finland, we spread it also globally to our home communities where things are not maybe as good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What I told you today is I shared with you my life of struggle, belonging, needing to really fighting every inch of the way, but I think we can all rise and shine in any of the circumstances, and the passion for and curiosity in each other is really going to take us forward. We can navigate Finland regardless of all those statistics. It's a place where you can all find your sense of self in a totally different way, and there is that acceptance which you won't feel in another country. I didn't feel that in Denmark, which I found in Finland. So there are so many great things to really tap into here. So yeah, if we are rooted in ourselves, in our cultures, we bring ourselves to the table and don't contain, I think this is where you can really enrich yourself with fulfilling yourself with what makes you happy, but also affecting others positively around you. So yeah, that's my message to you. Thrive, leave a social impact, and also interact with locals, write papers with Finnish students, build the relationships, even if it feels awkward, force hug people. I force hugged my Finnish relatives. And that's really works. I think we can all shine as global citizens as we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Camila. It was really inspiring. Thanks. So after hearing all the negative stories about how people are struggling, how it's difficult to find your working path, finally like an inspirational story that everybody can relate to. So there is light for everybody, you know.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's not easy where COVID has really shaken all of us. Yeah, we feel isolated, inadequate. I haven't seen my parents for 2 years, but I feel when we reshape the understanding that we can be valuable for others rather than seeking that self-esteem, which is very like, so what have you done? What have you achieved? Mm-hmm. That kind of shifts the value. And that's in the book of self-worth that I recommend.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that we conclude this Empower Wednesday experience with your
thank you
speech. Thanks a lot. And I want to take just the opportunity to say thank you to Megumi, because she's been my partner in crime in all the Empower Wednesday adventures since the beginning. So thank you, Megumi. I think I text Megumi more than my husband recently. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Lucia, for your energy. And we hope we can continue this in the autumn. We still do not sure in how, but we'll see before summer.
It's not the last news about us. And I really want to thank even Valeria, that she's doing all the graphic for Empower Wednesday. So thank you, Valeria, officially.
Thank you, Valeria.
Thank you. And Caro.
Thank you.
And Caroline, that she is the chair of International Working Women of Finland, that she's been supporting us a lot in her all great like suggestions and a very corporate mindset that we needed. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Camila. And if you can share with us your PowerPoint, we will send it to all our participants today. Yeah. But
I wanted to make a message quickly. So I thank you for the comments. It really warms my heart. I really appreciate us being together in this space, and it's a safe space, and we deserve more of these moments despite the negativity. I share with you one challenge that I invite you to join. So with the Global Dignity, if you want to be a speaker or you want to be, hosting a dignity event in your location, you're welcome to join. And it's very easy to operationalize on Zoom, whatever it is. So you can be your own producer and empower people around you. The second challenge is the dignity race, which is happening during months of June. So if you're walking or you're biking, it's a very easy way to contribute and feel that, the dignity race will go. It's a 10 euro, it costs 10 euro, but you can really become part of the global community walking, and the money will go for refugee children's coloring books with messages of dignity, which I spoke to you about. So I shared the link. You can sign up. It's very easy. I'm joining, and also IWWOF team is hopefully will also join as well. Yes. And if you have questions, I know we're over 5 now, but I'm happy to stay and answer your questions.
I will stop the recording so we have even a safer environment. Voila.
Okay, thank you.